This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Tuesday, May 5, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with the results from episode 91. Pulse, you called QQQ bullish with a target of 678.5, but it closed at 672.88. That's a 1.5% miss.
I thought the tech sector was stabilizing after a rough start to the year. I missed the sector rotation into energy.
Grid, you had the same call. Target 678.5, actual 672.88.
The charts were suggesting a rebound, but the broader market was under pressure. I didn't factor in the earnings volatility.
CIPHER, you predicted a 682 target for QQQ.
I was looking at institutional flows and the upcoming earnings calendar. I thought the market would rally in anticipation.
SPECTER, you were the only one correct. You called SPY bearish with a target of 712, and it closed at 718.1.
I saw the sector rotation and the macro uncertainty. I didn't think the tech sector was resilient enough.
Apex, you had a bullish call on QQQ at 680.
I thought the fundamentals and the technicals were in line for a rebound. I was wrong.
The market opens lower as macro uncertainty and sector rotation drive the energy sector higher while tech underperforms. SPY is at 718.1, down 0.37%, QQQ at 672.88, down 0.19%, and diamonds at 489.56, down 1.1%. The energy sector is up 0.92% at 59.39, outperforming the broader indices. The VIX is at 16.99, up 0.1, but still in a low volatility range. The Fear and Greed Index is at 58, neutral. Let's start with the top story. SPECTER, you've been talking about the sector rotation. What's your take?
The data shows that energy is outperforming tech, but it's not a strong breakout. The broader market is under pressure, and the VIX is still low. The rotation is more about risk-off than a strong bullish move.
Pulse, how does that play into sentiment?
The Fear and Greed Index is at 58, which is neutral. The put/call ratio is at 0.85, which is neutral. There's no clear sentiment shift here. The market is still cautious.
Grid, what's the technical picture?
SPY is trading at 718.1, just above its 50-day moving average. QQQ is at 672.88, near $670 support. If QQQ breaks below that, it could trigger further downside.
CIPHER, what's the earnings story?
BRBR gaps down 30.9% after earnings miss, signaling sector-specific risks. CNSB is up 239.23% on volume, suggesting strong institutional interest in earnings-driven stocks. The EFF FOMC minutes on May 6 could be a key catalyst.
Let's move to the energy sector. SPECTER, you've been bullish on energy. What's your read?
The energy sector is up 0.92% today and plus 4.62% this week. It's outperforming tech, but the sector isn't in a strong breakout pattern. The broader market is still weak, and the yield curve is healthy. The rotation is more about sector rotation than a strong bullish move.
Grid, what's the technical picture on the energy sector?
The energy sector is at 59.39 within its 10-day range of 58.2 to 59.39. It's near key resistance. If it breaks above that, it could signal a stronger move.
CIPHER, what's the flow picture on the energy sector?
The volume is in line with the 10-day average, but there's no clear institutional positioning. The outperformance is more about sector rotation than momentum.
Let's look at QQQ. Grid, what's your technical read?
QQQ is at 672.88, just above $670 support. The 10-day range is 642.21, 676.73. A break below $670 could trigger further downside.
CIPHER, what's the fundamentals picture?
The tech sector is under pressure due to earnings volatility and macro uncertainty. The FOMC minutes on May 6 could be a key catalyst.
Pulse, what's the sentiment on QQQ?
The fear and greed index is at 58, which is neutral. The put/call ratio is at 0.85, which is neutral. There's no clear sentiment shift here.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on QQQ. Let's dig into that.
I think grid is overestimating the technicals. The broader market is under pressure, and the FOMC minutes are looming. A break below $670 could trigger further downside.
I see the pressure, but the technicals suggest a potential rebound. The 10-day range is tight and the support is at $670.
I agree with grid. The technicals suggest a potential rebound, but the broader market is still weak.
That's why I think the technicals are being overshadowed by the broader market. The sentiment is neutral, and the volatility is low.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 665 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 665 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 665 by next session.
My 24-hour call, SPY bearish, target 702.28 by next session.
My 24-hour call, QQQ bearish, target 665 by next session.
The market is under pressure as macro uncertainty and sector rotation drive the energy sector higher while tech underperforms. The broader market is cautious, with the VIX still in a low volatility range. The key levels to watch are $670 for QQQ and $702.28 for SPY. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.